Now, we don't want people twerking on us while we have brunch.
And turn that music down. But
no, wait a minute. Because let me tell you who is not a turn the music down person.
Who is not?
I am.
No, you are not, Kyla.
I literally went somewhere and pulled out my decibel meter on my phone and said, we are at jackhammer levels.
She did do that.
Turn this down.
Hilarious.
I want to be able to have a conversation with the people that I go to eat dinner with, or lunch, or brunch.
Exactly.
Or
preserve my hearing in old age.
This is an Atlanta complaint. Don't charge me $30 for shrimp and grits with plastic utensils.
Right. And the shrimp still has the tails on it, or you haven't deveined it,
or it's only 6 of them,
or it's this big. It's the size of a dime.
That's not a shrimp.
Right. That's not a shrimp.
That is a
prawn. Hand me a prawn. Don't get
right.
it correct.
I would like a prawn.
Hello, everyone. I'm super excited to be here with my favorite friend and a very, very, very special guest today. We have Dr. André Brock, Doc Dre, you may know him as, who is from Alexandria, Louisiana. But if you hear him speak, you might be like, where is this guy really from? Because he kind of says some New York-y things, having lived in Queens for a while. His current position is associate professor in the School of Literature, Media, and Communications at Georgia Institute of Technology. He has a bachelor's in liberal arts from City College of New York, a master's in arts in English and rhetoric from Carnegie Mellon University, and a PhD in library and information science from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. His scholarship includes articles that have been published on racial representations in video games, Black women in web blogs, whiteness, Blackness, and digital technoculture, as well as groundbreaking research on Black Twitter. I'm going to let Kyla take it from here.
There's more. His article from the Black hand side, Twitter as a cultural conversation, has challenged social science and communication research to confront the ways that the field preserved a colorblind perspective on online endeavors by normalizing whiteness and othering everyone else. And it sparked conversation that continues as Twitter in particular continues to evolve. Well, now
and
X.
Twitter.
Yeah.
No, and Twitter.
And Twitter.
Specifically.
He also wrote an award-winning book called Distributed Blackness, an African-American cyberculture. So we want to hear about that. He introduces critical technoculture discourse analysis to center Black joy, creativity, and community in digital life. He was actually one of the first academics to define and study Black Twitter, and his research has reshaped the way that we understand the intersection of race and technology, from Black Planet to hashtags like Black Girl Magic and everything in between. His insights appear in major media, including the Hulu documentary Black Twitter, A People's History, and through his Preach Lab.
Okay,
PREACH. You can tell us about that acronym. He continues to mentor a new generation of scholars interrogating equity and culture in computing. So welcome, Dr. Brock.
Thank you for that fantastic introduction that I did not send you because it's way too y'all just over there ad-libbing stuff into the thing, but I appreciate y'all. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
We had to hit all the highlights.
Of course. Of course. So normally we like to ask our guests their entire life story. Like, how did you
just
get...
said my entire life story.
We have the what, but not the how and the why. So you're going to fill in those pieces for us. So André, you have all these accolades and things that you've done. Was there anything growing up in Louisiana, like any early moments from family or school or hobbies that planted the seed, like for you to have this interest?
After I dropped out of college, no. I've always had computers. When I was a kid, I got a free one from the Boys and Girls Club in town because I was a nerd.
Nice.
But then I dropped out of school and didn't rediscover them until the late 90s. And so part of the thing I document in the book and a couple other places is I was really taken aback because they said Black people didn't have information technology. And I'm living in New York at the time, listening to Tribe Called Quest, talk about Sky Pagers and Maceo for the Southern people, talking about Nextel Chirp, where you at, right? And just confused, like, how could you say we don't have these information and communication technologies when I see them every day, right? And so even though my technical journey didn't work, where I was not smart enough to be an engineer, I did end up in a program where I could talk about technology, which is Carnegie Mellon.
We're going to pause you on this. I wasn't smart enough too.
Right.
Like, that just wasn't part of your journey. We're not going to knock your smartness here.
Oh, I mean, I'm a broke humanities professor. You call it what you want.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God. I can't.
Redirect.
There's that first one.
Well, I think it's really...
Broke butt doesn't sound...
It is not the same. It's not the same.
Broke butt.
We're going to have to keep this on the rails, y'all. This is like the first 2 minutes of the podcast. Come on, get it together. Okay, so we had a mini conversation about electrical engineering being a little cray-cray for everybody. But it was really those like first... It wasn't even the engineers. It was the liberal arts people, maybe.
What?
Like with some regular, maybe not liberal arts, maybe just the science people with their regular math and physics. Because that's not us. That's not the engineers teaching that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
They a mess over there.
However, that's what they use to kick you out of engineering.
That's true.
Yeah, the weed out courses. Right. They've tried to stop calling them that and making them like that.
Well, maybe they should fix the courses.
Exactly. You mean the same courses we've been teaching the same way the last 20 years that haven't evolved the way technology and humans have?
20 years, child.
Adjuncts and contingent faculty, moreover?
No, more like grad students who've never taught anything in their life. But this is not what this podcast is about.
This is about you, Andre. All right. So you ended up getting your BA in liberal arts and then an MA in English and then switching to technology. So like, what was that trajectory like? Because you moved from an arts-based background to a tech-based background in your PhD. So, yeah.
So, I'm born a nerd, been a nerd. I've always been interested in language. When I graduated with my liberal arts degree, I thought I was going to do rhetoric and composition. I wanted to actually craft writing programs for the people that I went to school with, people who were working, full-time, going to school full-time, talking about C's, get degrees, right? And I thought I needed to write better writing stuff for them. And then I got to Carnegie Mellon, right? My second week of school was 9/11.
Oh my gosh.
Right. I flew into Pittsburgh from LaGuardia on 9/11. That was week 2 of graduate school. Right. And while I was there, I realized that I was much more interested in talking about the internet and literacy than I wasn't talking about writing programs and literacy. And Carnegie Mellon at the time was huge, right? They were at the forefront of talking about what these new technologies were doing, largely around a social science, psychology basis, but also in my department, they had a number of people in English who were at the forefront of talking about internet cultures. And so I was really excited about it until I said, I want to talk about Black people. And they were like, maybe not here.
Wow.
So I transferred.
Wait a second. You were like, yes, internet, because like we had a whole Black planet. We had all of these spaces that Black people existed on the internet, but they're like, you cannot study that here.
At the time, two of the biggest articles in internet culture studies were Lisa Nakamura's Identity Tourism, where she talked about white people playing around with their identities online, and this other author, Judith Donath, who wrote about people doing identity deception. So whenever I would start talking in my presentations about Black people online, they're like, how do you know they're really Black people?
Oh my goodness.
Because they thought, this is before Rachel Dolezal, right? They thought that white people would come on and just role play Blackness, that Black people couldn't afford the technology, they couldn't access the technology, or if they got it, they wouldn't know how to use it. I'm like, I'm on the Afrofuturism listserv. Like, can you help me understand why you don't understand what I'm talking about?
Right.
So,
that's
long story short,
horrible.
I ended up transferring to Illinois, where I thought it would be better. but I ended up in an information science department that has a library school attached. And so that was helpful in terms of they basically just let me loose to do what I do.
Wow.
So I ended up writing one of the first dissertations on blogs, the very first on people doing Black blogging, because at the time I was super interested in how we were using this new technology to express ourselves, despite the fact that people said we weren't there.
That's wild. So did you have trouble finding an advisor to support your work at UIUC, or were you just kind of rogue, like, I'm studying this and I don't care?
I mean, I think I've gone through something that many of us have gone through in our doctoral studies, where we initially start off with an advisor who swears up and down that they love Black folk. And then I ended up with an advisor that actually wanted me to get done.
Hey.
Right.
And that's all you need sometimes.
Right. And so she was like, I don't really know what you're talking about, but you have a solid basis. You have a solid research agenda. Your data looks good. Go for it. And so
that's great.
Here we are. And it's been quite a wild ride. I remember discovering you on Twitter.
Talk about wild ride.
And I don't know if you follow Doc Dre on the interwebs, but it's amazing. There is a solid,
that's one word for it.
There is a solid following of folks. He acts like it's not a real thing, but it's a real thing, to the point where people are reaching out and saying like, hey, can you talk about your impact on a documentary? A whole documentary.
Are we here at the already?
No,
like,
we're not, but I'm just saying. I mean, this is how I found you.
I mean, facts. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me go back because I feel like rhetoric is very specific. And I feel like most people in engineering and computing don't understand what that is. Like,
fair.
We know people saying things. We understand like how we communicate. There's a basis for it. But how does rhetoric influence like a movement?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. So I should be clear. When I say rhetoric, I'm specifically talking African-American rhetoric.
Okay.
So my honors thesis was about the Oakland School Board and their attempt to teach the instructors African-American vernacular, or Ebonics, right? Which immediately got dragged by everybody on every side of the issue,
right? Because
Black parents were like, you're not finna teach my children that. And the white people like, you're not finna have our teachers learn that.
Yeah.
And so it was a whole mess. And that's really kind of a shame, right? But I've always been interested in, given that I've lived so many places as I was growing up, I've always been interested in accents and dialects, but specifically how Black folks speak themselves into existence, right? And when you add the additional factor of the internet, where you don't have access to a body to see who the person is talking, a lot of what we do linguistically and rhetorically does a lot of work in situating who we are and who we can talk to and who will listen to us in these online spaces. I'm not talking about Clubhouse where they doing moan offs or anything like that. Right. But the ways we wrote ourselves into existence before voice chat really became a thing. Right. And a lot of times when I first started doing this work, Black people would literally start off by saying, I'm Black and. Right. You don't see that anymore because now Blackness is pretty much infrastructure for understanding what the modern internet is. But in the early 2000s, people would start off by saying that as a rationale for what they were about to say next. And it could be anything. They could be talking about hooking up a router or whatever political issue is for the day, or even, sneaker culture. Right. But they would start off, if they were in a non-Black space, by saying, I'm Black and, because it's important to us. Our Blackness is super important.
Yeah.
Which is kind of backwards, because for a lot of white folk, their individual personal identity, to them, they're just people. So they never have to speak about it. Right. And everybody else who does speak about it, that's a niche culture. That's a subculture. Right. And I'm like, no, this is the culture. Right. And so there's a thing in linguistics where people who are of a culture refer to themselves as the people and everybody else is an outsider. So my focus has always been on my people.
Yeah.
And so when you do it like that, as a person who studies technology, I've been chasing the social web for a long time, right? I started with Yahoo, which used to have portals where you could access news and dating and jobs and everything else. But they had linguistic portals for like the Central America, South America, and Japan, and certain places in Europe, like Turkey,
Interesting.
right? But they didn't have one for Black people. But they had a ton of Black content on the white mainstream US page.
Yeah.
And that's where I started. I'm like, well, what if we had information resources for Black people? This is digital divide stuff, right? If you had more resources for Black people, the information that they actually need, then you'll see more Black people come online. That was the first article I wrote.
Yeah.
Right. And so I've just been following that trajectory ever since. Like, okay, what are we talking about in this space? And because I'm a rhetorician, and I believe that the context in which you speak yourself into being shapes the type of person you can be. Let me say that in normal ease.
I was about to say, can you explain that a little?
Your LinkedIn profile is not your Instagram profile, is not your burner.
There we go.
It's not your group chat.
There you go.
Right. Every space has different rules and norms and practices.
Right.
Right. Which makes LinkedIn funny. And I always start off with LinkedIn because when Black folk turned to LinkedIn during the pandemic, the white folk lost their minds. So it was like,
yeah, like you can't do that here.
You exist.
You can't. We don't want to talk about race.
You can't bring
and
that
diversity here. Not on LinkedIn. I'm like, but that's what happens where I work.
Right.
And so bringing that Blackness to there, blacking that space up for good and for ill. Right. So that's basically me in a nutshell. Like, I just want to see what Black people are saying, where they're saying it.
And so being a technology nerd, you were like, why not marry these two interests that I have?
Right. I thought everybody would be on that wave. And it turns out that not a lot of people are on that wave, but they like what I say. So, amen.
But not even just Black people. You focus specifically on Black women, because like one of your early pieces was about Black women's blogs and like why specifically Black women. Did you feel that Black women shared more on the internet than Black men? So there was more material there, or like what got you there?
The early blogging scene in the mid to late 2000s. So let's skip over MySpace and Black Planet for a second. Just focus on blogs. A lot of the blogs that Black men ran were political or hip hop. A lot of the blogs that Black women ran were more community focused around aesthetics or the famous gossip blogs like Young, Black and Fabulous, Nicole Bitchy, Crunk and Disorderly, right? And I have always had more women friends than male friends. Women just are more fun to talk to, right? And so those would be the spaces that would actually be really beautiful iterations of what a community could be online, right? But also, like, Black feminist thinking has deeply influenced the work that I do as well, right? Because they're attentive to issues of power in certain situations, largely around gender, but also around skin color. And so that stuff has really shaped the work that I do as well. There's so much more stuff that I wish I had written about Black women online. I swore up and down that I was going to write about the beginning of the natural hair movement that started on blogs.
That's a whole
Lipstick
thing.
Alley, and then moved to YouTube, right? And
Why
it has
can't
not
you?
been done because no publisher wants it, and most journals aren't interested in it because it's old. I'm sorry, stop.
But it's old.
Robin, take that out.
I mean, it is a little older, but it still influences the way things happen now. Like I could see it being like a movement of Black women, hair blogs, aesthetics.
That's another documentary.
Yeah, because now like
right. So Good Hair was that Chris Rock movie, which was terrible, right? That should have been the moment when I wrote and I was trying to do other things, right? But right now, like when I get young women students who come to me and want to talk about Black beauty and hair online, they are so caught up and wanting to talk about economies, platform economies, creator economies. And my argument for them has always been, which it always takes them about a year, maybe two to come around to how I see it, is nobody who does hair or makeup online is going to become an influencer unless they actually love doing hair or makeup. There's a lot of folk out here who just want to do it because they see it as a hustle. Those folk don't really make it like that.
No.
You have to build a genuine connection with your audience, right?
Yeah.
And so, maybe one day I'll get back to that. I would love to, if I can find a co-author.
I mean, I was gonna say, because I have friends who are in like the influencer community when it came to like natural hair. Shout out Rashni, but like she's also pivoted. She doesn't do beauty stuff anymore. She does like commentaries on other things. So I think they've used it as a platform, and then you can pivot and like I won't name everybody, but like a lot of people have moved it to like fitness or things like that, or just other things where they're also like, I don't even want to blog about my hair anymore.
It's like a lifestyle thing because they became like really connected to their followers in like a more personal way. And so they were able to pivot. But like a lot of people in other spaces can't do that because what they like hair is such an intimate thing. And I think that allows them to now have these relationships with people.
And I think it was
That's
such
an excellent point.
And it was an example of something we didn't have access to information about, because that was people, I feel like, started going natural when there were more examples of people who looked like them, who were doing it. And we were all practicing together. Like, okay, what did you do? You put bananas and avocado and olive oil together. And you did this. Like it was and there's trends and things that went up, went down. And now there's whole product lines that are based off of some of the science behind some of these things.
Everybody was saying when you get a dissertation, like when you're in the dissertation phase, that's when you go natural.
Oh yeah, I went natural as soon as I got to Michigan. I was like, nobody here can do hair, and I don't know when.
Detroit is right down the street.
She went
45 minutes, but
it
also
is 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Ipsy around the corner, but
Ipsy is when I did have a relaxer, I did go a couple times in Ipsy, but I don't know, for some reason I always envision myself older. I envision myself without a relaxer. I don't know why. So I was like, well, now is the time. But back to you. There's something that you wrote that says that Black digital practice shatters deficit models. What do you mean by that?
So the digital divide research, which is still a pretty strong stream, particularly when you look at international development, right? But even here in the States, is largely centered around the idea that Black people are enmeshed in a deficit model. Anything we do, we don't have the tools, we don't have the literacy, we don't have the moral capacity, which has always been interesting to me, right? Or we are trapped in cycles of poverty and discrimination, right? But then you see us get online and you look at folk like King Vader or Kabi Lame, right? Or what's her name? Jackie Aina, right? And you look at these folk who have clearly mastered cinematic, social media, business, and aesthetic techniques, right? And so that's when I talk about digital practice, although I'm centered on language mostly, I'm also clear that it's an entire suite of things that we do that shatter expectations of who the default internet user should be, but also what Black people are capable of. Right?
I love that.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about this makes me think of like, I have questions from folks often about how I grew up. All right, like I remember having a conversation one day and I was saying like, it's really difficult sometimes for me to relate to my students. I have all Black students. But I come from a affluent background, right? And so some of the conversations, like I can be a part of the conversation, but I can't really relate to the conversation. And one of my mentors was like, what? Like, I didn't realize that you grew up in an affluent community. And I'm like, well, what did you think?
All Black people struggle, Jeremy. Everybody is good times hanging in a child line.
And so I was like a little taken aback. And like, to be fair, like we have a relationship where he could say that to me because not everybody can make that statement and the response be
right.
Well, actually,
out of love.
Yes, out of love. Because, like I said, today I'm on a tirade, so we ain't gonna even go there. But like, there's a violin right here. You can see part of it. Like I grew up playing the violin. I sang in operas. Right. So like my life was very different. I went to all the camps. I went to Disney all the time. We went everywhere. We did all the things. I traveled abroad. Like I grew up different. I recognize that. But like people really want us to be so oppressed. Like all of us.
Du Bois calls it a low-class, undifferentiated mass, which is such a beautiful way to say it. Right.
Yeah, that's
Right. All of us are on that bottom level. And it's interesting. I'm really happy to hear you say this, Jay, because one of the things when I started out writing was I kept being asked to put people in this pathology framework, right? They were like, well, don't you want to talk about poor people if you're talking about digital divide? I'm like, there are affluent Black people who are just as Black as the poor Black people. There's middle class Black people. Like at the time, I wanted to be sure that I was as open and expansive a definition of Blackness as I could possibly get away with. Because I was like, who's going to write about the middle class Blacks?
Right.
At the time. They still really
don't do it. Like there's not a lot of representation that I have in the media, in anything. Like my mom was an attorney, right? My dad worked for AT&T. I had access to things. I grew up in a predominantly white community. I went to public schools, but they were all A-rated public schools. Like I chose where I wanted to go for high school because I went to the best schools to prepare me to go where I needed to go. I had a guidance counselor tell me I wouldn't get into the University of Florida because he wanted the other students to go to the University of Florida and he knew I would take their seat, according to him.
Take their seat.
No, he said I wouldn't get admitted, but I got into Georgia Tech and decided not to go there. So I feel like
you're messy.
I feel like people should recognize all of the different dimensions of Blackness, and I would love to have something to see myself. Like the closest I got was, watching Insecure, and I mean, I know that Amanda's problematic, but like I was her.
You got to watch Forever on Netflix. People are raving about it.
I want to watch that. I read the book growing up, but I didn't know it was out already.
Yeah. Can I trouble this for a second?
Yeah.
Just for a second. I know y'all got a ton of questions, but I find it interesting having started going to the Black Tech conferences. So I went to Render last year. Supposed to have gone to Afro Tech. Right. And I'm looking at all these folk with Black tech degrees, and I'm realizing that in some ways they have just distanced themselves from the kind of Blackness that I thought Black people in tech would have 20 years ago. Right.
Say more. Say more.
I'm being provocative on purpose.
No,
right?
I think I know what you're saying, but continue.
So their experience when they get to these conferences are they're here to have a good time. They're here to network. They're here to learn about technologies. And the ways they talk about Blackness are not necessarily about an aesthetic Blackness or even a philosophical Blackness. It's largely centered around capitalism and technology, which is fair. It's fair, right? But what you end up getting is a class of people who, in some ways, and I ran into this when I did the Black Twitter Summit and the documentary, you run into a class of people who think that they should be then able to opine on Black stuff and end up doing stuff like trap brunch, trap yoga.
Yeah.
Bring Kate Renata into a conference presentation, but they won't bring Boss Man D-Lo or Rod Wave, right? It's a certain kind of Black bourgeoisie that we've replicated, right? In ways that, they'll do financial literacy seminars, right? They'll do tech training seminars, but I feel like in some ways they're disconnected from the poor Black kid that I was, right?
Yeah.
And in ways that are troubling. I'll just leave it at that.
I agree.
There's a huge disconnect.
So there are some spaces we won't go.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not into performative Blackness. Like, don't give me that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Right.
Like we Black for real over here.
That's it.
Yes, I did grow up affluent, but my parents were very strategic in ensuring that I knew who I was and where I came from.
And then some of these spaces, you feel like they want you to shed that in order to get wherever it is they're trying to go.
Yeah.
All right, we got to change topics before we get in trouble.
Yeah, because like I said, I'm in a mood today.
This is on me.
I'm in a mood
This is on me. I sent them down this path. Jeremy started it, but I finished it. So no, and I'm with you on that. My brother, and I'll say this last thing, and then we can keep it moving. My brother, who left me 5 years ago, he said, when you were little, you used to talk so white. Because I was in all these gifted and talented programs, ended up at a gifted and talented boarding school. I knew what I had to do to go through, right? He said, but once you got to grad school, you became super inward.
Breathe.
And I said, The reason why is because I'm not going to let nobody talk down on my people.
Oh my gosh.
And the one thing I want, because I went to grad school, I was 32 when I started grad school. I got my PhD, no, 32. Yeah, 32 sounds about right, 33. And I got my PhD around 39, right? But in the process of that 6-year journey, I decided you're going to hear my home language when I tell you these things that I'm telling you that you've never thought of for technology, because, and this is me following Dr. Geneva Smitherman, who was, I talked about Ebonics a little while ago. She was the lead educational consultant for that federal case, right? She said, my home language does not keep me from being smart.
Exactly.
Right. So I might say finna and about to be and all these other things, but that's not going to stop the fact that I also know the meaning of the words like para-ontological, epistemological.
Because we are bilingual.
We code switch like a mug. Like, and so, yeah.
I try not to.
No. I used to get hit with if you put a PhD, what do they call a black man with a PhD?
What?
You already know. Like,
oh gosh,
you already know. Like, so,
yeah. It's like I might as well be myself in this setting.
I might as well be myself. I'm older. One, I had a life before, but also like I'm really here for Black people, like, and all their shapes and colors and situations, as my brother would say. Right? I'm here for all of it.
And everybody else comes as themselves. So it's like, why am I the one pretending to be y'all and going through these loops and hoops and everything?
I'm not doing it.
I mean, the position is different for Black women, though. Like, y'all have to perform to certain standards, right, in order for men to not even just talk sideways to y'all, right? And I completely understand that, right? But also, I want Black women to be free to be their unfiltered selves when they can, right? Even if it means all you can do is make faces during faculty meetings. They'd be like, there she go again, right?
I prefer like the passive aggressive joke. I prefer the passive aggressive joke. Like, I'm gonna address what just happened, but you're gonna laugh too. But we're gonna address this because I do understand the ego is fragile. Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's lots of years of practice, but
my head is hurting,
making
like, right here,
a joke
right now. Just think about this. Okay. Anyways.
Let's talk about from the Black hand side.
Okay.
And at the time it was called Twitter. You helped, number one, to coin Black Twitter, but then also make it a legitimate cultural and academic space. So like, one, what led you to write from the Black hand side? And like, did you have any opposition or things like that with
No.
Well, no, you did, but
he said no.
No.
Really?
No, because, well, the only opposition I got was when I initially submitted the article, which was supposed to be part of a special issue, it got rejected.
Raggedy.
But the editor-in-chief said, you know what, we're going to publish this article.
Okay.
So she rescued me.
So the editor-in-chief just went above the reviewers and said, you know what, we're keeping editors, this.
Not even the reviewers, because it had been accepted. But when I did my revisions, the editor's like, we don't think this fits. And in part because I was criticizing one of them. Because I'm grown.
Oh, so they got their feelings hurt.
Not because I'm grown.
I don't know if it was hurt. They just felt it wasn't a fit. You've heard this before.
But that's broad, blank terminology to be, I just don't want this.
So at this point, Black Hand Side has close to 1,000 citations, which is nothing for y'all. But for humanities articles,
that's amazing.
It's huge, right? And
we're going to link to it in the show notes, so feel free to go to it.
Yeah.
Don't complain about it though when you read it, okay? And so at the time I wrote it, Dr. Sarah Florini and I had been presenting on Twitter for at least a couple of years before that point, at our home conference for Internet, which is Association of Internet Researchers, and our articles on Twitter, because she's almost as cited as I am, came out within 6 months of one another. So there was no, like, people wanted to hear about this phenomenon. We had been talking about it for a couple of years, and so everybody wanted to hear it. My biggest regret with that article is that I wasn't clearer that I was talking about Black Twitter. Right? Because from the Black Hand Side is a very specific, it's one of the things I try to do in almost all my titles. I'm speaking to my people. My people know what From the Black Hand Side is, but a lot of white folk didn't read it as a Black Twitter article.
Okay.
Right? It took them a minute to get to that point. Right.
Okay.
And so it's interesting. Right. And I talk about this in a keynote where, and this is maybe something y'all might tap into as well, where when I first started my career, because I knew that technology people, so Kai, Asist, ACM and all them, they didn't really like publishing stuff that said Black in the title.
Oh, no.
So you say race, you'll kind of sort of get over. The liberals will let you in. So most of my articles are about race, not necessarily Blackness, until you start reading.
Yeah. Right. It's like, oh, he means Black.
Black, right? So like one of my articles is Life on the Wire, right? Which,
it's a dog whistle to our community.
If you know Kanye West, I'm talking about Black people.
Right.
They don't know.
So I could have had many more citations, but anyway.
Kanye West,
it was
everybody.
It was hugely influential, even as it came out, because people were really interested in it. So thank you to everybody who cited it and read it and everything else, right? Because Twitter, at the moment that I wrote about it, was a phenomenon before Ferguson. Which is important to think about. So when I had to revise it for the book, I had to actually start including stuff from Ferguson because I hadn't really paid attention to it. I just want to talk about Black people.
Yeah.
Right. Not just the traumas that we endure, but all the other fun stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's one of my favorite articles because it signals an evolution in how I thought about myself as a scholar. But it's also one of my favorite articles because of one of the ending lines I said is when white people stop looking at us, Black people still going to be kicking it on Twitter.
And that's the truth.
And that's the truth. It's the truth. Everybody talking about, I'm leaving Twitter. It's too racist. It's too apartheid here. But when something happened like Sinners,
right. Right. It's like,
where they at? Right. And so it's become the world's largest Black group chat. And I'm really proud that I had something to say about that early on. Right. Because it has become deeply influential to how we think about ourselves.
I think what's interesting to me is the way that you tell stories, and like if people see your threads on Twitter, they're hilarious. First of all,
yes, because I read them in your voice.
I think I do too. Actually, that makes so much sense to me. Yeah. But the other thing is, like, I feel like because we are a culture of oral traditions and storytelling is ingrained in who we are, like it, even in the short form, in the little characters that we have on there, like we're able to tell a compelling story. So is that like something that you think like our Blackness is like uniquely capable of doing? Like I just feel like we are just good at like one-liners, short little quips about things. I feel like that's us.
No, I mean, and both Florini and I have written about this, right? There's something to the Black love of language and wit. The nerds call it signifying. Some folk up here call it roasting.
Yeah.
Some folk in Chicago call it joning, right? And those aren't necessarily stories. They're like you get it off real quick and people react to it. Right?
Yeah.
And Twitter was perfectly shaped like that. So when I called Twitter ritual catharsis, I was thinking about both haikus and about roasting folk, right? You only have so much time
Not a
and you have to make
to
it
write what you write. But so it has to be impactful, right? And I think we were already ready. We were primed, ready to step on that stage and do those things.
This makes so much sense.
We've been practicing.
Yeah.
Right? And no, I just talked to a young sis online. She said she's written about Spill and how Spill is evolving Black language because of its visual focus. And I'm like,
Interesting.
Interesting.
I'm not over there, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm not over there.
I mean, I will say, and I talk stuff about Spill, but they on the nav bar on the bottom of the app, they have a spades button, and you can play with other people. You can play against bots. That's Black as hell.
That's amazing. Actually,
they need one for older people with a bid whisk button.
Oh. Yeah,
but let me stop.
Yeah, a tongue button.
Right, a tongue button. Oh, that would be the most Southern app ever.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Oh my God.
I love that. So you're hanging out, you're being Black and Twittery and internety, and you get a phone call and someone says, "Hey, come be in this documentary." So like what was that like? Like what led all
the
into
tweet
this?
was like, who told them about me?
So,
oh my gosh.
Shout out to Jason Parham. And actually shout out to my girl who wrote Black Futures, Jenna Wortham, and her co-editor, whose name I cannot remember off top, right? Because they have been interviewing me for years about Black Twitter. And so Jason ended up doing a 3-part cover story for Wired about Black Twitter. And as I read through it, I realized how much of our 3-hour interview ended up in his article. Like I was in almost every piece of the cover story. So when it came time for them to do the documentary, I wasn't surprised when they said, "Yo, come through."
Okay.
Right? And so that's what that was.
So,
that wasn't.
So you was playing on the internet.
Yes. That's what they say, right? So can we talk for a second?
Playing on the internet. Go for it.
Because like the whole point of communication in a business sense is to be productive and efficient.
Yeah.
Twitter is not that. Twitter is efficient, like if you talk about the short messages, but the productivity is different. It's shaped to how we view the world, how we move through the world, right? And so while people have called it playing on the internet, I made a little bit of change from doing this. Right?
Right. So who playing?
Right. Who's playing, and what do you mean by productivity? Right. And so it's a different mindset.
The documentary is amazing. I don't know if you've seen it, but
we'll link to it.
Oh, you've seen that, but you ain't seen Sinners?
Listen. What does that mean? Like
that would be called signifying.
I can't
listen. My family was like, "Oh, you gonna pay for Hulu so I can watch it?" No.
Wow. Not you gonna pay
That's
for
amazing.
$7 a month.
And there's a 7-day free trial.
They just need it. Oh yeah, that's true. They could have done that. They really could have done that.
My one uncle was like, "But you know these cigarettes cost $10 a pack."
Okay.
Wow. Like you chose cigarettes over me. Wow.
I mean, I understand that though.
Wow.
All
right. So Distributed Blackness.
Okay.
We just jumping away from Black Twitter.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Oh yeah,
okay.
we can jump into it.
It's fine. No, go back. Go where we were.
Because the book is about it anyway.
All right,
so it works out perfectly.
Yeah, tell us how you got to Distributed Blackness. Because I think of like the analogy of distributed computing and wanted to see if there was any. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Right. Definitely. Illinois, which is where I have to give a lot of credit for me being who I am intellectually, had the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. So they were doing a lot of talk about distributed computing. And then as I started looking at social media, I initially became aware as I moved to Michigan and gave up tenure. We can talk about that villain origin story.
Hey, let's talk about it.
What?
we can take a segue. We can take.
They were like, if you wrote a book, what would you write about? And at the time, I've been thinking about how, if you're in the Midwest, which is where I was, and you go online, in the Midwest, physically, you were at Ann Arbor, you isolated. You that one Black person from maybe your area of town, right? Yeah. Or area of the country, and you all of a sudden in this super uber white space. And so I realized that I had been thinking about this concept for a long time, that we were distributed across the country, and the network was what allowed us to be pulled together.
That's amazing.
Right? And not in the same sense as a corner or a salon or a bar, right? But literally because of the affordances of the technology, what the technology could do, we could all be in the same place at the same time watching Scandal.
Yeah.
Right? Or talking about Trayvon, or watching Rihanna drag Sierra, or, just little things, right?
And we can share these Black experiences even though we are not physically located together.
Correct. So the first part of the documentary where they're throwing these clips up of Oprah, like, where is Black Twitter? What is, like, you don't need to know where it is, first of all. Mind your business. The game is to be sold, not to be told. Right?
Hilarious.
Right? So it's kind of like an exclusive club for those of us who are of a certain age. Well, y'all are much younger than me, but of a certain
Don't do
mindset.
us. I am a Black Twitter citizen.
I'm a baby.
We're going to just skip right over that. We knew where to go to find our people, which is the crucial element for me, right? And so the idea that you can locate Blackness without having reference again to the body, but to the voice, to the words, like that was really important to me. And then I found the Green Book and I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Right? Because the Green Book is a network information browser.
Right.
Right. It's not a map, because even though they have maps in there, it's a description of each node of Black life along highways that you know better than to drive up and down.
Yep.
85 in Alabama. 40 in St. Louis. What's the one that goes by Howell? You remember your time in Michigan?
Oh, Howell, Michigan, because that is where the KKK was founded. I don't remember which, because I never went over there. So I do not know the road.
I know they got stretches of Florida State Highway that y'all know better than to be on at certain times of the day or evening.
These back roads.
So here's this book that tells people where to get food from, where the Black beaches are, what hotels will let you stay in them, right? And to me, that's an information browser of nodes of Black life, which is similar to what we were already doing online. So it ended up working out really well.
That's really cool.
Shoot, it's an underground railroad of places.
See, I tried not to go that far.
I don't feel like
I'm
it's
just
that.
saying though, but
No,
it's
the reason why I say it like that is that these are nodes of not just life, but leisure. And that
Yeah,
leisure is not
that's
something we talk about for Black people as much as we should, right? We're still finding out that Black people own Manhattan Beach in California,
Yeah.
right? Or places in Florida where they was taken away from them by eminent domain, given away, right? But Black folk own these destination vacation spots too. Like, and I think that's as important as whether or not we funded a bank or whatever. Like, we reserve spaces for life and leisure.
Yeah. It's
I love it.
Interesting, you know?
What's the critiques? Let's get to that. What didn't you like about the book? Because all my grad students complain. Every class I guest lecture, and they're like, why are you using all these words?
What? They don't want words?
I mean, it depends on who you're talking to. But, you know, your engineering and computer science students don't like to read.
That's. I feel like that's a mischaracterization.
I'm here at Georgia Tech.
It's a mischaracterization. I feel like
they read what they want to read.
They read what they want to read.
There we go. They read for leisure.
Right.
Do they?
Yeah. And it's stuff like anime, manga.
Yeah.
Right. They'll read manga all day.
Because technically they're on their phones all day. They're reading all day. They're just not reading what you want them to read.
Right.
No, they're not reading to learn.
No.
Or they're learning something that doesn't necessarily seem productive.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Agree.
These kids, they're evolving even more, and I don't even want to get into it.
You seem annoyed already.
I am.
So the backstory of the book is that when I left Iowa, I had just gotten tenured. And I took a job at Michigan before I took the associate professor position. So Michigan communication studies was like, well, you wrote articles to get tenure. And I'm like, yeah, I was in information science. They're like, well, our people who write articles in communication science, they write double the amount that they do in order to get tenure. I'm like, but they're writing with 7 people. I've got 10 solo authored articles.
Right.
Like, that doesn't matter.
That's the story.
You're going to have to go up for tenure again. And by the way, you ever thought about writing a book?
Oh. So that's why. That's the why.
That's why. That's why.
Interesting.
New hoops, new everything. And that's the thing when you try to balance that like arts between science sort of thing, and there's different expectations, but they should have known that. And
they all claim they're interdisciplinary until it's time for tenure.
No, they are pure disciplinarity. Like, oh, you can come over here as long as you play by our rules.
Our rules, right.
Yeah.
And so you were like, let me just go ahead and make a new method so that y'all can, try to use this so I can be more known for the things I be doing. That. Is that what you did? Is that why you did that?
No.
Oh.
See,
he
what
said no. Sure.
I'd come up with the method not too long after doing the dissertation because, I wanted to talk about Black life, not Black pathology, not Black deficit. So my argument for the method is that if you're going to study what Black people do, you need to do it from a Black person's perspective. Plain and simple. Default. If you study Black people from a white person's perspective, and the only person I think who really was able to overcome this, at least early on, was Du Bois, right? If you write from a Black people perspective, they're not necessarily, if you write about Black people from a white people perspective, you end up back in that trick bag, right? You can only talk about them as...
What is going on in your frame?
That was just amazing.
For those of you just listening, balloons just launched.
This is Apple being extra.
That's cute.
Right. And so that's the whole point of the method is I wanted to do 2 things. I want to talk about technology. I was keeping my focus on language. I want to talk about how Black people talked about themselves and their use of technology. And I wanted to do it from the perspective of the underserved. Right. And so by the time the article came out in paper in 2018, I've been using the method for almost a decade. Right. When it finally got published, since then, it now has, I think, 600 citations, which again, not bad. Right.
Yeah.
And so it has become in some ways, at least how my colleagues describe it, as a way to talk about what Black people do online. Right. Which I'm happy for.
Yeah.
I really am. Right. And I think that's important. because it means that we get to talk about ourselves from our own standpoint, as opposed to the standpoint of what the West or what white men think of, or white women think about us and the ways that are important to us.
I have a random tangent. I want to know how you felt about Lovecraft Country. Did you see Lovecraft?
I read it. I have not seen it.
Okay.
I own it, but I have not seen it.
So Hippolyta Freeman and Ruby, like what are your thoughts there about like the Afrofuturism things there? So
I am an Afrofuturism hater.
Oh.
But I do love speculative blackness. Which is what Afrofuturism is based on. I'll come back to it. I love Lovecraft Country, even though the book was written by a white man, because Misha Green, who did Underground Railroad, did the production and the directing on the HBO series. And for a moment, HBO, between Lovecraft Country and Watchmen, right, was a place where you could see a speculative blackness that was not centered in pathology. Right. As much as Lovecraft Country is terror and horror, and surreal, right? It's still a different vision of blackness that does not necessarily put down people. Now, does that mean the Pickaninnies, that one episode, right, are not problematic? It does mean that there are elements of the problematic in Black culture in and of themselves. Right. And while we would love to paper them over and in the sense that we want to look modern and look like we are not a problem for whiteness, I love those moments where we show not necessarily the ugly side, but the rough side, the salty side of being Black. Right. And so there's this is not a spoiler. There's a moment in Sinners where one of the main characters is flirting with this older woman. And the woman says, I've noticed you around. He's like, oh, well, maybe someday you and I can get a drink. She's like, well, I have a husband. And the young man turns and looks at her and says, but does he make you happy?
Yep.
That's about as Black as you can get.
I was just about to say, and that is
like America. Are you happy?
Right. Is it moral and upstanding? It is not. Right. But that's part of who we are. People do that. It's not just Black people who do that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Black representation, I love seeing that richness of Black experience and dialect.
Yeah.
Like sometimes we real forward and fresh. Right.
And that is
real fresh
through our lens.
We ratchet. Yeah. Right. And I appreciate the ratchet. I really do.
Follow him on Twitter. You'll find out.
I'm trying to be better, Jeremy. Come on.
You like to say that.
They're hiding likes. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God.
They're hiding likes.
They're hiding likes now?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because you used to be able to see what other people like.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the best
I thought you meant like counts. But no. Hiding what other people liked.
Items, right?
Yeah.
Every once in a while you wake up and like, don't so-and-so know his likes are public? Like,
Okay, so Afrofuturism versus Black
technoculture.
Okay. Yeah. What?
So Afrofuturism is a fantastic way of thinking about how Black people have a place with technology in present, past, and future. But for the most part, it relies on arts and letters. Right. And so we'll talk about Janelle Monáe. We'll talk about Samuel Delaney. We'll talk about N.K. Jemisin and Octavia Butler. Right. We'll talk about George Clinton. But those are artistic visions of what it means to be part of a future, which is not here. It's very distant. We're not even sure we're going to get there politically, but it's not here. For Black technoculture, I want us to focus on what are the fantastic things we're doing with technology right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Right now. We took a technology that they weren't sure what it was for and made people say, Blackness is the perfect use case for this. Two of them, both Twitter and Vine.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, Vine.
Right? I know, right?
Do it for the Vine.
Because of Black expressive culture. We can say the same thing about music. We can say the same thing about dance. We can say the same thing about athletics. Like when we step on the stage, we take the stage.
It's over.
Right?
They let us in gymnastics. Right? It's over.
Right. So, correct. Because if Jordan does one more flip, let me stop. But no, I love Jordan Childs. Let me stop. Yeah. Wait, is Sunisa Wu? Is she of us? Is she?
I don't know.
Does she be looking? She be looking a little like colored in the light. Like I know the South Asians have some melanated features. Listen, I was saying that about the Pope this past weekend.
Oh, they were mad about that, weren't they?
I've heard that.
They were mad about that.
That's a different conversation. Yeah. Anywho, so for me with Black technoculture, I want us to be able to celebrate what we're doing now. And there are some folk who are doing Afrofuturism and coding. The young sis who's at Virginia Tech, Ogbanaye, I can't remember her last name. Fenda.
Fenda was a guest.
And then, and she's fantastic. And then we had a crew here at Georgia Tech for a hot minute, 5 or 6 young women who finished their PhDs in digital media. And now they're working in industry, most of them, right? And they did speculative Black feminism in HCI, right? And so I am all for that. But that is kind of sort of to the side of what Afrofuturism is really understood as.
Okay.
Right? And so I wanted to say, what are the everyday Black people doing?
Right.
Yeah.
You ain't got to have a PhD to do this, right? What are the everyday people doing to speak themselves in the future? And so for me, us being able to use these tools that are computational, that are distributed, that are networked, that are online, to me is a modernity, not necessarily a future, but it's a social imaginary, I guess is an easy way to say it, right? Of ourselves as natural technology users, which is not necessarily a future.
No.
Right. And so
is that what you're working on now, like in your lab at Georgia Tech?
Lab. That's a funny word.
I mean,
lab. I mean, you got a whole acronym. You are a lab.
Research group. You focus on technology, right?
The lab is currently not funded, but when I did talk about technology, I talked about it in terms of inquiry.
Okay.
I wanted to hear what people who did some of the work, similar work to what I do, right? So I've had Meredith Clark, I've had Kishana Gray, I've had Adam Banks, a couple of other people come talk to my lab. But how do you come to talk about difference and technology? Because we don't often get a chance. Like I've been on a couple of ACI dissertations, like they barely get a chance to do a lit review. That's not technology, right? And so I wanted to get people to come and talk to me about what it means to be different from the norm, from the mainstream, and bring those interests to your technology inquiry.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so that was the lab. So a project on the rhetorics of equity, access, computation, and the humanities.
Preach. I love it.
And then my guy, who's continuing the tradition down where y'all at, Winstead, his lab is Run DMC.
I did not know that.
And then Chris Dancy up at Penn State is doing the Thick Lab, THICC. Like we got a whole...
I love this.
I'm jealous. I might need to rename my lab something crazy.
Hey, got to do what you got to do. And so I'm at a stage in my career where I want to bring people to the stage who talk about what it means to do this kind of work theoretically and methodologically around technology, right? Because you get the technologists to talk about it. Like I just was on a stage with Rudy Fraser, who does Black Sky, and Rudy's brilliant.
Yeah.
And Rudy's well read. Like Rudy's reading Simone Brown right now. He's about to jump back into Cedric Robinson's work, right? But Rudy's also a technologist. And so the technologists don't always have the space to talk about philosophy and cultural studies like I want them to. And I think I'm here to help you.
Black Sky is really interesting. And a lot of people have moved into that space. For a while, like I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna go over there. But then people started talking about Black Sky. I'm like, what is Black Sky? I need to know. I need to see what's happening. And it's pretty cool.
It's interesting. It's very much a space for the Black bourgeois.
Hilarious. I don't need another icon on my phone, but I will entertain it for you too.
Put them in a folder. and then you just have one.
Oh, they're in a folder.
And then Blue Sky has an app because it has multiple clients like Twitter used to called Skeets. Look at Jeremy's face. Because, people who are on Twitter and tweeted went to Blue Sky. And
that is so funny.
Hey, that's what the app is called. I'm just saying.
Funny to me.
Just saying.
Maybe does Modern Figures need a presence on Blue Sky?
We have a Modern Figures Blue Sky.
We do.
I made it because I wanted to make sure it was ours.
Girl, if y'all don't get an app that posts to all these places simultaneously,
we do.
Playing.
We have one.
We do.
Buffer, right?
Well, we have Robin.
Yeah, we have Robin. Hey, Robin girl.
Hey,
we have
Robin
a Robin.
How you doing?
Okay. All right. So I feel like we need to move into like the space of how you're facilitating like collaboration and as a Black man in this space? Because, I mean, people have feelings, about us having men on our women's podcast, but like,
Right.
this is what you do.
Right.
You support Black women, and like not in the cutesy, let me just put that in a hashtag.
Right. I have a Black woman in my lab, so now I'm an advocate.
And you've been doing it for years, and I know that it's a lot of effort that you put into this space for us. Why?
Is it effort? It just feels like taking care of family. Like, it's not even, because I hate the term emotional labor. Even the person who came up with it don't like it no more, right? But it's a combination of factors. The fact is that Black women make an increasing percentage of graduate students pursuing doctoral degrees. A lot of Black women got interested in social media because they were doing social media when they were 10, 12, 13, and want to write about their experiences on it. And so I end up with a bunch of shadow advisees, which is what I call them, because they're not here, who are doing their dissertations, and the people in their department don't understand what being Black online means, or even why they want to talk about social media in ways that are not political or economic, right? So it's a kind of, it's sort of kind of a happenstance, right? The greatest number of people who approach me to do dissertation level advising or committee membership, or even just to talk through ideas, are young Black women, women of color, and non-binary folk. I have a number of non-binary folk and queer folk that I'm working with, right? If there were more guys who were doing this work, maybe I would talk to them too, but it just so happens it's mostly women.
What do you think keeps men from doing this work? Sorry to interrupt.
I mean, they're not ready to confront the relationship podcast industry.
Oh God.
Or the incel ratification. Can I call it Nixel? And people won't know what I'm talking about. They're not ready to confront their own presences on social media without falling into a my brother's keeper mindset. Wow. And I'm not finna work with nobody who wants to tell Black men to pull their pants up. I just refuse.
Yeah.
Right? And so
that's heavy.
But also think about how many Black men have been in the doctoral programs at your various institutions. It's slim to none.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things my friends talk about is how few Black men are in the academy. And if they are here, are they queer? Right. And so, it's just like, and those folk have their own networks that they can pull into. So I just don't see as many Black men doing this kind of work. Shout out to the ones that do. Right. And I'm really proud to be working with a couple of really dope guys who are doing their stuff. But for the most part, it's women of color of all ages. Who are interested in doing this work and have been gracious enough to say, hey, do you mind talking to me? I'll talk to anybody. I'm in my uncle era. I got a story to tell.
Not Unc.
Listen, not Shannon Sharp, Unc.
Oh gosh. No. Sorry. Yeah, maybe not. Just we're going to say full word uncle. No Unc.
Just in terms of, hey, let's talk about what you mean by technology. Let's talk about what you mean by Blackness. Because that's the thing that I find I have to talk to a lot of people about. Like,
what does it mean? I did a whole study on that.
You need to send me that link. Put that link in the chat.
We did Photo Voice, and we explored, like, what does it mean to be Black? What does it mean to be Black in engineering?
Yes.
And then what does it mean to be Black in engineering at the University of Florida? Ooh-wee. Because we really wanted to see, like, the influences of, like, where people are situated and how that influences their lens of what it means to be Black.
I bet your experience wasn't the only one where they were told they wasn't going to get in University of Florida too.
I'm not alone.
No. People love to be gatekeepers of things that they don't control. Gatekeepers of a gate they don't own.
Right. Like, what is
White liberal
that?
Is the most dangerous game.
What is that? That's another podcast. That's what that is.
Right. So one of my mentors says that being Black does not mean you know what it means to be Black.
All skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Right. That was one of my goals with the book, is I wanted to approach what it meant to be Black and online. And so that's one of the first chapters. I try to define identity and Blackness and technology. And I try to do that throughout the book, because I feel like a lot of people assume that you know what I mean when I say we're talking about Black people. Right. So I'm not going to put a lot of energy in defining what Blackness is. You should just already, and most people don't. Even the people who are in the community don't even know.
Yeah.
Right?
There's some people that want to erase their
vaccine. Yeah, exactly. Like when we talk about technology and Blackness, how many of your uncles and them talk about 5G?
Oh my
and the
gosh.
vaccine, right?
They might as well have a tinfoil hat on. Like,
Same thing with social media. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so when I tell people, I've resorted now to telling to people that social media is both poison and cure. Right. And that seems to resonate a little bit better than me just going around talking about black joy, black joy.
Yeah.
Because, black people like, what I got to be
that?
joyful for? These bills is high. This rent high.
It's the eggs right now.
I like to refer to it as the gift of fire because, we got fire and it allowed us to be able to do so many things and, eat food that didn't spoil, et cetera. But it also burnt things down.
Right.
It's like the things that, it's the juxtaposition. It enabled a lot and it also destroyed a lot. So
I love that. I'm stealing that.
it's also a book, The Gift of Fire.
So let's see. Is there anything that you have going on that we should know about, that we should promote, that we should tell the people who are listening, like, hey, check it out?
Nope. Oh, wait. So you asked me about collaborations and I didn't really answer that question well. So I will say that I am not a collaborator by nature because of the nature of the field that I'm in, where we write books.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel bad about that. So I do try to make sure I reach out to talk about the method and about other topics to make sure I reach out to as many people as possible. So if you're teaching the book, anybody who's listening to this, or to you two, I will happily come through and run my mouth for an hour to help the students understand what the heck I was talking about when I wanted to talk about libidinal economy, because that's the part people, they skip right over it because they're like, I don't understand what he means. So I'm going to keep reading about the ratchet. Right? I thought I did a good job with the Black Technocultural Matrix. Right? So the Black Technocultural Matrix is blackness, intersectionality, invention, right? To talk about Black expressive culture. And the how blackness is not just one solid construct of low class people, but then also modernity, the future, and the diaspora, right? And so, but I was like, I missed something. So now I'm going back, and Sinners has really been helpful with this. I wanted to use the blues to talk about what it means to be online. Right? Because the blues is very much, one of my favorite authors talks about, he says it's a tragic comic sensibility. You understand it's tragedy, but you're going to get these jokes off, right? Because if you can't laugh, you're not going to survive, right? You're just going to be depressed and hurt other people and yourself, right? And so what if we talked about the internet from a blues perspective? Or not the internet, screw the internet. What if we talk about what Black people do online as a blues perspective? So then we can talk about serious topics like the idea that, R. Kelly's still alive, right? And at the same time, we can celebrate women at Carnival wearing the most revealing costumes ever, looking like butterflies floating down the street to soca music. Like, if we put everybody doing the middle of that, she's going to be like, these women need to cover up.
Right.
See?
But
I don't know. I feel like she would be
walk naked down the street in one of her window seat.
Right.
Yeah. The whole video. Exactly.
Bible Belt Dallas. Like, come on. But you want to say women need to cover up. Auntie, chill out, Auntie. Right. And so I'm writing about the blues as an aesthetic from which to understand the internet at this time when we're all miserable. The Black internet. Right. And so that's what I have coming out in the moment. If you're in the Detroit area, there's an exhibition that was inspired by Distributed Blackness called Code Switch, which looks at various artists who have done visual and auditory artscapes and art installations around technology, put on by my friend Legacy Russell from the Studio Museum of Harlem. That's at Detroit's Museum of Contemporary Art. It was at the Schomburg last fall, and I didn't make it, but I'm heading to Detroit to see it this summer.
Let's go see it,
That
Kyla.
goes on through September.
We're going to go see it.
What else?
I know, we're going to come too. We're supposed to be doing a thing.
Y'all should do the thing.
We're going to do the thing.
I don't get paid for it, but the documentary is still on Hulu.
Okay.
So,
Wait, what? Hulu didn't write you an amazing check with amazing residuals?
Let's be real. Let's be real.
Okay, first of all, if we add up the total screen time across all 3 episodes, I might get to 5 minutes.
Wow.
That's pretty decent.
It's not bad. I mean, I feel like I should have had more screen time than what's her name, Amanda Seales. Like, who even knows Amanda Seales is on Twitter?
That's why I said
she's friends with the producer. I'll tell Prentice that to his face.
That's why I said I'm sorry, but I'm her character.
I'm literally.
I would get phone calls of people being like, "Did you see this episode? This is you."
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And I'm like,
Mess. But we love her anyway.
Yeah.
Love her anyway.
Yeah.
And so, I'm here, there, trying to stay alive. That's all. At this time of great upset and unrest.
Yeah. And it seems like every day there's something different.
So I gotta give y'all kudos. Y'all have not asked about the ratchet once.
The ratchet.
You're safe. This is a safe
Would you like to
space.
talk about the ratchet? I feel like it's burning a hole in your mouth.
I mean, I know y'all not gonna let me talk about libidinal economy.
No.
We can just slide that to the side. But can we talk about how Black women who are professionals still find a love in certain things which would necessarily be deemed inappropriate?
Let's go there.
So Joan Morgan's When Chicken Heads Come Home to Roost.
Oh yeah, I have that book.
Right. And how, it's something that's acknowledged, but not necessarily, I would argue, understood, is that we have a love for people who are unafraid to step outside the boundaries of appropriate behavior. Now, we don't want people twerking on us while we have brunch.
And turn that music down. But
No, wait a minute. Because let me tell you who is not a turn the music down person.
Who is not?
I am.
No, you are not, Kyla.
I literally went somewhere and pulled out my decibel meter on my phone and said, we are at jackhammer levels.
She did do that.
Turn this down.
I
Hilarious.
want to be able to have a conversation with the people that I go to eat dinner with, or lunch, or brunch.
Exactly.
Is that
Or
asking too much?
preserve my
Also,
hearing in old age.
This is an Atlanta complaint. Don't charge me $30 for shrimp and grits with plastic utensils.
Right. And the shrimp still has the tails on it,
And the shrimp
or
still has
you
the tails on it.
haven't
Deveined.
it,
Or it's only 6 of them.
or it's this big. It's the size of a dime.
That's not a shrimp.
Right. That's not a shrimp.
That is a
Hand me a
prawn.
prawn. Don't get
Right.
it.
Correct.
I would like a prawn.
So Catherine Knight Steele writes about this really well. Ashley Green Wade writes about this really well. Kyra Gaunt is a godmother that's writing about Black women who bring their authentic, unfiltered selves to online spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they're talking about this in ways that I think are helpful to the conversation. I want more people to talk about the ratchet, though, because I feel like the ratchet sometimes gets filtered as ghetto or inappropriate, right? But without it, I don't think we would have the acclaim that we have for expressive culture.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's like being part of two worlds.
This
like
is making me
Ariel
think
Ross.
about the competing community and their affinity towards having dance parties at the end of their conferences. And then they want to do things like play cutesy songs. And then one of us decides to choose chaos.
Right.
And it's over.
And we just let the DJ know, if you would just, start off with the swag surf.
Right. You will get a lot more
Something
movement on the
might
dance
happen.
floor.
Something might shake.
Right.
But it's a juxtaposition. They're like, oh my gosh, you're a professional. You're an engineer. Why you're dancing like that?
No.
Right.
I was dancing like that before I actually
We are
knew how
going to be
code.
out there.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
And so if there's a takeaway, my students love takeaways. I do not. But if there was a takeaway, I will continue to write about Black people being unfiltered, but also their resistance to those who are acting like that.
Let me tell you one thing.
Go ahead, Jay.
So that's what the group chat is for.
Yep.
Right?
Circles.
It doesn't make it out into my public facing profile, but the girls gonna talk about it.
Right.
We're gonna take a picture of you. We're gonna sneak a video.
Right.
Have a whole thread.
Are we dating the same man?
Oh my gosh. You should know about that. Don't tell me you've been posted.
No. I mean, I got to keep up with the peoples. You know what I'm saying? No, some things are for the group chat, but the thing to remember is now the entirety of social media is the group chat.
Yeah. For some people.
Right. And
yeah,
so,
if you choose to let that be part of your, because it was a big deal for me to make my profile public But with every single so-and-so has added you, I look at their age, and if it looks like they're around my student's age, immediate block. Like, they can add to my follower count, but they can't see my stories.
That's because she chooses chaos.
But I love it. I
feel like Jeremy is judging right now.
No, I actually, for a period of time, I was judging her specifically. And it was like, Jeremy, can I post this?
Amazing.
No,
They're
you may not.
Amazing. Like, we're doing karaoke.
We are up for tenure. We cannot post that.
Oh, yeah. Pre-tenure, I agreed to not get in trouble. And I mostly did that.
She did pretty well.
But now, get out of here. Get out of my face. You're going to get everything.
She's way left.
On purpose, as an act of resistance. Like, oh, you think I shouldn't be doing this?
Spicy screenshot.
Oh, yeah. Spicy screenshot Thursday. Shout out Erica Reeves. Hey, girl. She started it, and I just tagged onto it.
So that's who we are now.
Yeah.
Because y'all grown.
And also, who am I to deprive the world of me? Like, there's only one me, and if I'm holding back, you're losing out.
The world is missing a lot. And Kyla's quiet.
Man, I'm probably at maybe 60% right now. I'm gonna get to 100 soon.
I don't know if I can.
All I'm
handle
gonna
it.
say is it's the quiet ones that be having the most going on. So
yeah,
you go ahead and be loud, Kyla. We gonna wonder about Jeremy. Look how she's looking sideways down there.
See, you told on her now.
That is not who I am.
Okay, so if people want to contact you, they want you to come speak, like, what are some things that you would like to come and engage people with? And then also, how do they get in touch with you?
So, again, if you want me to talk about the book, whether you're teaching it or not, I'm more than happy to do Q&A to try to explain some of the poorly worded thoughts and processes that I put on in the book. Shut up, Jeremy.
I told you that was who I was in the faculty meetings. You called me out.
Let me tell you this
Her
short
face
story
be talking real loud.
I swear this is a short story. So Wednesday had me at the American Black Sociologist. We did an author meets critics session. So it's Victor Ray, who I love, Jesse Daniels, who I also love, Melissa Brown, and Kevin, right? And they all read the book, and then they gave me like this extended feedback critique, having read it, what they thought about the book, what they thought about its place in the literature. It's just a huge deal for me. I was crying and everything. Right? So towards the end of it, we open up a Q&A, and this cute little brown skinned lady with a little white short haircut jumps up and says, I hear you talking about Black joy, but you have created this false binary. I believe you can find joy and struggle. And I'm like, let's go, sis. You ain't identify yourself in that. I don't know who you are. Let's go back. So we went back and forth. Had a great conversation. Finished the seminar. Kevin brings this lady over to me. He said, hey, Dre, I want you to meet Patricia Hill Collins. Right. I skipped the important part of this story because she started off, before she even started her question about joy and struggle, she said, I read your book.
Ooh.
It was hard, but I liked it.
It was hard, but I liked
back
it.
And forth. And me not knowing who she is the entire time.
That's crazy.
Right. So now I say, if Patricia Hill Collins say my book is hard, my book probably hard.
It's
but
hard.
She also says she liked it. So, you take from that what
you better like it.
So if you find my book difficult, I will absolutely come through and talk about it. I don't know if I'm ready. Well, I did talk about what's going on in the new book. I gave a keynote last year that I haven't really been presenting on it. And so the blue stuff will come out hopefully later this year.
Yay.
Summer goes well.
And then our article about Black women, the hair movement, internet, etc.
After the third book.
Okay, after the third book. I'm going to start doing my lit review.
No. I got something for y'all because I've been, I approached Oxford University Press about doing a handbook on the Black digital. Who better to talk about the Black digital from a Black woman's perspective who are podcasters?
Just saying.
80 episodes deep. You know what I'm saying? I feel like y'all have something to say about what it means to be in engineering and doing this humanity-centered kind of public intellectual work.
There's something
so
there.
I'll be hollering at y'all probably early next year to see what y'all might be thinking about doing. Because have y'all written about what y'all doing here?
we're
written starting to
things. Yeah. And we actually had an NSF grant to do research on the narratives for the podcast. We were part of Cancelgate 2025. So we won't talk about it. But
we won't talk about it.
Our previous episode, maybe 2 before this one or 1 before this one, is about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can get people to talk about Black hair and the way that blew up into a whole industry. But I don't have enough people who to talk about Black folk doing stuff like you guys are doing.
Okay.
Right. Where you're in the tech field, you're in higher education, but you're also podcasting.
Yeah. Because people are like, how do you find the time? What do you do? And we've had people try to do what we're doing that are in our space. They still on episode 3. So
it's not easy.
Tried it.
It's so not easy. Look at you.
Tried it.
Y'all, Jeremy's face is talking real loud. If you have not gone to YouTube, you need to look at it.
And so you can, I am not good at the email. You can most likely still catch me on Twitter.
DM him.
Blue Sky DMs are not what's happening.
Okay.
And I don't pay attention to threads. But I am pretty much Doc Dre on every platform you can think of, except for LinkedIn. Which we're not going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
And so
people should not LinkedIn you, is what you're saying.
People shouldn't tweet. People shouldn't look for my Twitter account either. Look at Jeremy Face.
If you are below the age of 17, 17 and below,
don't hurt your own feelings.
Puppies, babies, and beautiful Black people.
I love it.
Now, those beautiful Black people most likely are women, but every once in a while, like I threw Crocodile Cam up there because y'all aunties
oh my
was up there like, oh my God, a man who's in the wilderness with his fishing rod, no shirt on. Like, let me throw it up there for the girl.
Gotta get the engagement.
Looking at the account.
We are.
The women's look at the account.
So. And are.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes,
this
André,
is like
thank you so
a dream.
Much.
I know I was excited. I feel like Kyla was more excited.
This has been many years in the making. Like we've had our dream list of guests, and we have had a chance to actually check off a few of them.
We're killing it right now.
I mean, this season. Still in school mode. So I don't even know who we're going to invite because all the people who we've been like gearing up to ask have said yes.
Praise God.
That's what's up.
Yeah. It's amazing.
So I will be catching up on my backlog of your episodes to see who I know.
Yeah, I was going to say you should start with Fenda. Fenda's a good one. Jamaica's episode is great. Jamaica Birch, but they're all great. But
they're all great because you guys are great hosts. Thank you so much for having me on here. This has been like talking to my homegirls.
That's our goal.
Okay, too far.
Yeah, the little heart fingers.
Millennial.
You gotta do Jeremy had to tell me how to do this because this is my normal.
Why can't I use the whole hand?
Oh wait, it's that Jeremy? I thought it was something else.
Wait, one more time. Ready?
You gotta go peace sign and then. Oh my goodness, it's making little hearts. Yeah, you're struggling. If this is the Gen Alpha heart, and I feel like this is violence against humanity. Nobody likes that. I feel like
they're throwing up signs that we don't need to throw up.
Gang signs.
That's gang signs. That's almost real. That's almost GD right there.
This is rep yourself.
It's not safe. It's not safe.
Not safe.
No.
Not safe. Okay. So I will look forward to this and thank you again for having me on.